Hello, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to give me a thumbs up. Today I'm going to make this really simple Halloween fall wreath. It could be used for either. These are the supplies I'm going to use to make this wreath. I am making two wreaths at the same time. I had an order for two, so you'll see stuff off to the side. I'm going to start by adding pipe cleaners to my 14-inch wire frame. I like to add a pipe cleaner to each crossbar for the two center rings. And then for the outside, I'll just pick a random crossbar to start. I'm twisting 3 times, pretty tightly. You don't want to warp the frame, but you want it to be tight enough to where it doesn't move. And then I'll lay it along the frame using the second ring from the outside. And where it ends is where I'll add my next pipe cleaner. And I'll do this going all the way around. I end up with 14 ties. I'm going to use 21-inch orange mesh for the base. I'm going to do the poof method. And I just like to pull on the mesh when I'm gathering it to make sure I've got an even amount so it doesn't make lopsided poofs. And I'm going to attach it to the frame using a zip tie. I prefer to use zip ties to attach at the beginning and end just because I know it holds really well. If anyone's interested in following me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at Southern Wreaths More, on Facebook at Southern Wreaths, and I also have a Facebook group called Southern Wreaths and More. I also have all of these links in the description below. I like to attach my mesh at a crossbar where there's a pipe cleaner already. And then once I use the zip tie, I'll just trim everything away. I'm going to make 10-inch poofs for this wreath, just because when I tried to do the 12-inch poofs, I didn't like how much orange was showing. I wanted a nice balance between the orange and the jute mesh. I'm just using my mat to help me measure it out, and I'm only twisting like 1.5 times with my pipe cleaner. I like to do the extra half because sometimes I've had pipe cleaners come loose, and I do like to poof it as I'm going. I'm going to go around and finish doing the entire outside. Once I get to the last one, I'm pulling the pipe cleaner on either side of the zip tie that I originally attached the mesh, and then that's where I'm putting my last poof. So it all makes a perfect circle. Now I'll just push all of the pipe cleaners. I'm going to open all the middle pipe cleaners and then push all the outside ones out of the way. That way you don't accidentally grab a pipe cleaner you shouldn't. I have done that and I have to go back and redo the whole thing. And I'm just going to pull my mesh up to the closest pipe cleaner to where I finished. And I want to pull it kind of tight. I don't want to make a poof with that. I just want to pull everything to the center. And then I'm just going to continue making my 10-inch poofs going around the middle of the wreath. Once I get to the last one on the center, once I get to the last poof on the center, I'm going to open the first zip tie, the first pipe cleaner when I pulled the mesh up. And that's where I'm going to finish my last poof. I hope that makes sense. That way, again, it's a perfect circle. There's no gaps. And when you don't use a sign, you really want to make sure everything looks really nice with your poofs and ruffles, or I'm using Woodland Ruffles, and the ribbon. You want to make sure everything looks really nice because you don't have a way to cover it up. So I'm just going to trim away the mesh, and then I like to push it through the frame and then attach it to the back of the wreath. And you want to make sure you pull your zip tie really well. You don't want the mesh to slide out, and if you're tugging or pulling on anything, you really can pull stuff out of its place easily. Which hopefully when you sell your wreath, people aren't pulling and tugging on the wreath you sold them. And then I'll just trim that away. And this is what it looks like when it's just the basic poof method. You can see this orange really covered well. So I'm going to cut 14 20-inch pieces of jute. I have it doubled up here. I have 2 rolls together. I was trying to finish off 1 roll. And I just like to use my rotary cutter and my mat to help me measure. And you can make your Woodland Ruffles slightly larger if you want to. I like the way the 20-inch ruffles fit in with the ribbon and everything. I've made this wreath several times and I just wanted everything to balance really nice. Okay, so to make my woodland ruffle, you want to turn it around to where it naturally curls. I like to put something heavy on the end. And then you're just going to roll it like you would doing a curl wreath 2 or 3 times. This first one I did 2. Later, I usually stick with 3. The biggest tip on making any curls or woodland ruffles is to make sure your tips of your mesh are not sticking out of the curls. It makes it look really messy when that happens. See here, I'm kind of turning it and sticking it into the curl. And then you attach it just like you would with a ruffle or a curl. Just put it on the pipe cleaner and twist again 1.5 times. And then I'll go through and fluff everything later because I really want good coverage of the brown and the orange. And here I'll show you again. And you can use anything heavy. It doesn't have to be that. I like to use my phone. So that was about 3 curls, I would say. I kind of rolled it. And sometimes you do have to fight with it, but it does come out and looks really nice. And then after you make the curls, you just ruffle it together. I really like this method. You get the look of the curls and the ruffle, and you're only doing one technique. You don't have to add both. All right, I'll go around the whole outside and finish adding my woodland ruffles. And now I'll show you how I do the inside, which is exactly the same as the outside. It helps if you have a clip, like a chip clip or something. You can just clip the other side instead of putting something heavy on it. Especially if you're kind of rough with things. I normally am. I just was trying to be really gentle because I knew if I pulled too hard, the scissors would pop off and I'd have to re-roll that side. And then I'll just go around and finish doing the inside ruffles. I'm only going to use 2 different styles of ribbon for this wreath. So I'm going to need 14 of each ribbon. And I like to use a piece of cardboard. This is cut slightly smaller than 12 inches. And I'm just going to wrap it around 7 times. I find if you do more than 7 or 8 times, the ribbon gets so thick that you end up with longer pieces of ribbon than what you originally wanted. Once I wrap it around 7 times, I'll just trim away on either end. You just slide your scissors in and cut it away. Just make sure you hold it tight after you cut the first side. And then after I go through and cut all of my ribbon, I'm going to dovetail the ends. So I just take it, fold it hot dog way, and I'm just cutting from the metal part into the crease at an angle. And I'll go through and do that for all of the ribbon. And then I like to stack my ribbon before I put it on my wreath. It just helps me when I'm adding it to the mesh. Makes my life a little bit easier. I can move through it quicker. So to add my ribbon, I stack them together, which I've already got here. I fold it in half, I crease it, and then I pinch at the crease. And then that's what you add into the pipe cleaner, is the crease part. You want to kind of push it down into the pipe cleaner, and then I twist 3 times, as tightly as I can. I'm not trying to like break it or anything, but I do want it tight. And then I'd like to use a glue stick to roll down the pipe cleaners. And then I'll just make an X with the ribbon. And then I kind of fold it to kind of make it curl onto the wreath. And here I'll show you again. Just fold it in half, crease it, pinch at the crease, and then add that pinched part into the pipe cleaner. You can see that first twist, I really get it twisted so that it stays in place. If you do it too loose, you could pull the ribbon out and not mean to. Like right here when you're fluffing, if you pull too hard, you'd pull the ribbon right out if you don't do it tight enough. So I'll go around and do the whole center of the wreath, and then I'm going to show you how I do the outside. Here I'm showing you how pretty it looks on the inside. These colors just go so well together, and that little touch of sparkle is great. I like black with the brown sometimes. It really pops off of it. Okay, so the only difference in the outside ribbons versus the inside is the way I fluff them. I don't do necessarily an X. I kind of make the top 2 ribbons go straight across, and then the bottom makes an X. It reminds me of a butterfly. I don't really like it when my ribbon overlaps because you don't want to lose your ribbon. Sometimes it's expensive and you want to see it. So it's wasteful if you cover it up. So then I'll just go through and fluff everything, make sure the colors are nice, and that's it. That's how I made my really simple fall or Halloween wreath. You could use for either. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can always email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for watching, and if y'all learned anything today or liked my video, please like, share, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Thank you.